So what do we do? What do we do as parents? Well, let's just take it back a step. There are 4 types of bullying, really. There's lots, there's lots of in-betweeners, but 4 main types. One which is verbal bullying, which is the name calling, the rumours being spread, excessive yelling, cruelty with words, threats, disrespectful comments, teasing, all that sort of stuff, which when your kids aren't used to it can be really quite belittling, demeaning, soul-destroying. Well, all types of bullying are, aren't they, really? There's the second type, which is physical bullying, which is the being hit and kicked, blocking, pushing and shoving, inappropriate touching, invasion of physical space, personal space, aggressive physical behaviour. I mean, those are sort of, both of those are fairly traditional types of bullying that you probably would recognise, and they spring to mind when we talk about bullying. But there's relational bullying also, which is, it's becoming more and more relevant. It's sort of being excluded, being ignored, being kept out of conversations. I mean, do you remember sort of when you were at school, if you were sort of sent to Coventry, there was nothing worse. Nowadays, kids are kept out of, sort of excluded from sort of WhatsApp groups and sort of stuff like that. All of this is a form of bullying. Not being allowed to join in, not being invited to parties, being treated as invisible, people talking behind your back, all those sort of things, which puts your child on the back foot, makes them feel inferior, makes them feel as though they are not liked or they're not part of the gang. And for young kids, being part of a tribe and a friendship group is so important. So when they are being excluded from all this, it can have a huge impact. And then the cyberbullying, which we didn't have in our day because we didn't blimmin' well have technology. But this is online bullying, really, which is even harder to deal with because it's invisible. The perpetrator is invisible, and that's the worst thing. What has happened with cyberbullying is, do you remember if you were bullied at home, at school? I remember when I was bullied at school, I used to shut the front door when I got in from school, and from sort of 4 o'clock until 8 o'clock the next day, I was safe in my sanctuary. And this doesn't happen any longer because online bullying, we are permanently attached to our phones and our kids are being affected by it. The bullies are now invading their sort of personal sanctuary. But it's, cyberbullying is lies and rumours being spread online, everything to be done online, being sort of blocked, being trolled, being whatever. Exclusion from chats, sexting, if you've heard of sort of dick pics and sort of stuff like that. All of this is cyberbullying, receiving anonymous messages, unkind comments, through social media or wherever. This is all part of cyberbullying, and it is so important to acknowledge that it is just as damaging as a black eye. Emotionally more so sometimes. And it's important to look out for the signs. It's important to work out, well, is my child being bullied or not? I'm not too sure, and what do I do about it? So look out for mood swings, look out for interrupted sleep patterns, changes in behaviour, social withdrawal, all these things. What is different to your child's behaviour? What has happened, and how are they operating differently? Have they got lower self-esteem? Are they not eating so much? Are they biting your head off? Are they getting cross? What's going on that you are sort of thinking, do you know what? Something's not quite right here. Maybe unexplained cuts and bruises. Maybe their grades are dropping. It's just, just acknowledging that there's a slight change in behaviour here, and it's just being alert to what's happening. Okay, so what do you do as a parent? Because I know invariably what you want to do is roll up the sleeves and go, I'm going to just give them a piece of my mind, and that doesn't help. That's sort of treating fire with fire. So I think the thing is to remain calm, take the ego out of it, because to be honest, this isn't about you. This is about your child who is struggling, and if you're lucky enough for them to have turned to you for support, or whether or not you've found out, or whether or not you've teased it out of them, it's a matter of, how do you support them? And remaining calm and not putting your feelings above everything else is the most important thing. Kids don't want you to overreact. They don't want you to take control. Actually, what they'd rather do, is they just want it all to go away, but they want everything to remain invisible, really, because how mortifying if the grown-ups step in. Provide unconditional support. Set the boundaries and let your child know that actually, no, this is not acceptable behaviour. This is not to be tolerated. And actually, schools now have really strong anti-bullying policies. So the first thing is to contact them and let them know what's going on, because that really, really helps. But it's also really just encouraging conversation and finding out what's going on for your child and letting them know without judgment that you are there for them, that your child is the expert in their own situation. So it's important for them to realise that they are the ones that are in control. So ask the open questions that will elicit a bit more information. Find out what's going on in a calm and measured way. Give them praise. I understand that this is really difficult for you, and I won't do X, Y, and Z if you are not comfortable with it. And just acknowledging that it takes a lot of courage and vulnerability for being able to admit, do you know what, I've got stuff going on and I'm not happy with it. Sometimes it always helps if you are needing to speak to the school or different authorities. Always keeping a record of what's going on really helps, because when emotions are high, we forget what's going on. So keep a record of what's going on. We need to help our child build their self-esteem. That's the main thing. So I want you to do, I think it's kaigraham.com/superhero, but it's an exercise. Amy Cuddy does it on YouTube, but it's showing your child to be their own superhero. And I'm just going to show you how to do it. And it's tricking the brain that your child is in control. And it's giving them helping to rewire the brain to give them the confidence that they need. Because I say to kids, if you go into the school playground and you're sort of walking around like this, the bully's going to go, target on their back. They're the ones that we're going to target. So we need our kids to sort of be strong and less vulnerable and more in their own power, a bit like Superman or Superwoman, whatever. But it's basically getting your child to stand feet apart. I know you can't see all of it, but feet apart, hands on hips and chin up. And it's really as simple as that. And it's standing there like that for a minute. Because what happens is that the brain's thinking, oh my gosh, something's going on here, and it's pumping the brain with serotonin and oxytocin and those feel-good hormones and lowering the stress hormones. So get your child to stand like Superman does. And it's no mistake that this is what happens. And if you stand for sort of 1 minute at least, however long they can bear, they can do it before they go into school, get in the car, get on the bus, or even stand in the loo cubicle before they go into lunch. But just get them to stand like this, nothing else, chin high, head back. Because if you walk around like this, you're feeling closed, you're feeling vulnerable, you're feeling negative. But if you throw your body back and if you show that your brain, you're actually showing a big message to everyone else that actually I'm in control here and no one needs to mess with me. Okay? So stand in your power, in your superpower. So, if you like that, get in contact with me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. DM me. kaigraham.com/superpower. No, superhero is the handout that you can get for that exercise. And just DM me. And until next time, I'll see you in the Eden Room next month. Much love.